Hello, friends! How are all of you doing this wonderful day? Set that there. Wah! Ah! I am having a pretty good day overall. There we go, that's how we set that up there. I went to the store, and I bought a rug. And I was checking it out, and the person at the person at the register was like, "Hey, that's a nice rug, just don't step on it." And I'm like, this is a rug. I literally bought it with the explicit intention of stepping on it. That was entirely my plan. But outside of YouTube, like actually in the real world, I'm a nervous wreck around people. I'm an introvert. I'm secretly an introvert. And I'm just like, oh. And now this wasn't an, oh, go on, I'd like to hear why you think this. This was a, oh, why are you talking to me? Please go away. I just want to buy my rug and go. So, she continued. Naturally. Apparently, when she was young, her brother slipped and split his side open on a glass table around a rug like this. Now, this is a little faux fur rug that they wouldn't have had, 80 years ago when this person was a kid. This was like a brand new style of rug. I'm just like, I just kind of hid and was like, okay, and I paid for my rug. Anyways, that's my day. How are you all doing? Hello, Karan. Hello, Tazi. Hello, Hensha. Hello, Rifa. Rifa Tasfia Prova. Hello to everybody in chat. You're all wonderful beings. I don't really have anything specific for this stream. I just wanted to unwind and talk to you guys for a bit because, well, that's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do that I like doing. Where is YouTube chat? Is it showing up? Oh, it is showing up. Good. Hello, Vaporeon. So if you guys have any stories like that you guys want to share in chat, I would be delighted to hear them. Also, the rug I got is like the softest thing ever. I'm going to put it next to my bed so that when I get up in the mornings, I can step on the rug instead of like, the cold floor. And there we go. Honestly, it's comfy enough that I have half a mind to sleep on it. I just kind of want to curl up on the soft rug instead of that. Hello, Riasat. Welcome. Do you want to hear your brother's story about farting in Spanish? I would love to. I absolutely want to hear that story. 100%. Oh, people are probably noticing that we're not playing more of Brock the Investigator. That was originally going to be on the schedule for today. And I changed that around. Hello, Wakia. And I changed that around because the game didn't seem like it was a good game for me to stream because it was nothing that I could really add to. Yes, Wakia, you are new here and welcome. I hope you have a wonderful time. Brock the Investigator was a good game, but it was fully voiced, so I wasn't doing any voice acting with it, which is fine. I don't need to do voice acting, but it's fun. It was also... It was also, not paced great. There was a lot of dialogue, and which makes for a fantastic game, but it makes for a difficult thing to stream, because I wasn't able to inject enough stuff into the game from myself. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I was adding to the game. So I do think that you should all buy Brock the Investigator. It was a really good time, and I absolutely enjoyed what I played. But I think I'm going to play the rest of it on my own time as opposed to on stream, just because it doesn't seem like it got a lot... It didn't get a lot of traction, which is a separate issue, but it also didn't seem like it was that exciting in there. And it's good to see you too, Prova. Alright, so your brother went... But yeah, it was a fantastic game, though. I do have a set of games, a bunch of games, that I play off-stream and that I usually will not stream. Hello, Abria, welcome! Right now, one of those is Cyberpunk 2077, because that doesn't really fit the tone of the channel, and has a ton of copyrighted material in it, so I decided to play that as my own time. Because any streamer who streams games has to have games that they don't stream, that they use to unwind, that they use to relax, that they use to not be in streamer mode, right? Because when we are streaming, if our brain is in streamer mode, we're having a different kind of fun. Live streaming is fun, but live streaming a game is a different type of fun than just playing a game, right? I have to be focused on 16 different things at the same time. Chat and the metrics and, concurrent viewership, because that's my only real sign of how well I'm doing. As well as things like, stream health and audio monitoring, making sure that I'm not, quiet for too long. All that fun stuff that goes into streaming. And while I adore it, while that does make things amazingly fun, I also don't want to always be doing that for everything. So, there's games that I don't stream, and right now that list includes Monster Train, which I've been playing a lot of, Cyberpunk 2077, Civilization 6, it's going to be Brock the Investigator. Just games to play to relax. What games do you guys play to relax? I mean, you guys don't have any, professional gaming stuff, at least not most of you. But what are your guys' relaxing games? Vaporeon says, okay, so my brother held in his fart for like 4 periods. He tried to stealth it during a Spanish during a final? Oh, jeez. During a Spanish final, but it was so loud, it killed the entire classroom. He went, bro, Andrew, I'm right behind you. His friend Andrew had a tiny poot, but he thought to this day that he farted real loud, and he was forever traumatized for an accidental fart from your brother. Wow, that is crazy. Hello, Abul Kudus. Welcome. So yeah, so what games are you guys playing right now? That's what I'm curious about. Oh yeah, I also picked up Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, because I think that would be a funny meme game to stream. I've played a couple of Metal Gears. F-Zero GX. I've played the original F-Zero. I know they made a lot of other F-Zeros, and I never played any of them except for the first. I like the first one. Back in the day. That was an old retro Super Nintendo game. Didn't really have a whole lot to it. But what is F-Zero GX? Is that the one that actually has like a storyline and stuff? Because I know some of the F-Zero games actually have like full storylines. Which is cool and wild, you know what I'm saying? Oh wait, this is actually on screen. Whoops, I didn't actually intend for that to show up on screen. Oh well. Oh, okay, it's the GameCube one. I never had a GameCube. I never actually owned a GameCube. One of the few consoles of that era that I never picked up. There's a couple I picked up later on, I picked up the PlayStation later on. Well, I picked up PlayStation 2, which was backwards compatible. Bravely Default is a fantastic game. Hello, Assassino. I will drink water. That's a fantastic idea. The GameCube costs so much money now? Yeah. I mean, a lot of the retro classic stuff is expensive. I do have the ability to hook up my Nintendo and Super Nintendo and N64 now. I was actually going to try to do that, but I just didn't get around to it because, well, time and whatnot. But I should do that. I should probably do that streamed at some point. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? I could even probably do that today, but after we I think I just want to vibe today. I don't want to think. Thinking is hard. Bravely Default is a phenomenal game. I loved that game. Except for... Okay, no, I loved the mechanics of that game. The storyline was way too edgy. The storyline in Bravely Default was just misery after misery after misery. Everybody was sad, and every story tried to push like a Yoko Taro style of sad ending, which was tragic. But I mean, it was a good game, and I did finish it, the first one, but I didn't pick up the second one because the first one just felt like it was trying too hard to be edgy. Like it was tragic, it was powerful, it was moving, but my goodness, did it feel like it was trying way too hard. Karana's playing the Skyrim Anniversary Edition. I've been meaning to get back into Skyrim. I have the VR setup, and I want to play more Skyrim VR, but like, I haven't played it since I started streaming, because I have a new computer. I got a new computer when I started streaming. I built and upgraded my computer. And my streaming computer is great, but I need to reinstall every mod. And I had like, I think I had like 112 mods, or something like that. It was over 100. I had a stupid amount of mods installed. And they were all beautiful. They all worked in harmony. It was a beautiful, magical clockwork of mods, and everything worked perfectly and nothing broke. Things broke every single time I played, but you know, it was a fun kind of break. You know, things broke, but it was broke in a fun way. So it was okay. Sometimes it's okay if things break. But I just haven't gone to the effort of reinstalling it. I should do that thing. Maybe I would even stream it. I mean, I've played it enough times, although there are plenty of mods for other regions. Like, I know there's a Skyrim mod that takes place in Elsewhere that looks really nice. I know there's the... a big chunk of the Oblivion Morrowind stuff is completed, so you can actually go into some of the Iliad dungeons, and you can go all the way as far south as maybe even the Imperial City by now. And I know that Morrowind in Skyrim is still being worked on, and that's the one I'm really hyped for. I want to play Morrowind in VR, and I do not want to do that in the Morrowind engine, because the Morrowind engine is not great. I liked Morrowind, but not because of the gameplay in Morrowind is rough. It's not great. It's not fantastic. Fun game, real rough around the edges. It still had misses. Like, the best mod you can do for Morrowind, because you can still install mods for Morrowind, a lot of them really don't bring it up to a modern gaming experience, or even a enjoyable retro gaming experience. Actually, that's a really thing I want to talk about, is the idea of enjoyable retro gaming experiences, because that is a different sort of thing than we're used to brain thinking about. Because when you think of a retro experience, a lot of them are fun to go back to. A lot of them work. A lot of them work really well. Things like, you know, Mario 3 or Super Mario World. They're retro experiences, sure. Final Fantasy 6 or 5 even. They're retro experiences, sure, but they aged like wine because the pixel art still holds up and looks beautiful. And then there's retro experiences that did not age well and have to be taken as a product of their time. Games like... what are some good examples here? Oh, games like Soul Blazer, which is not a fun game. It's really not an enjoyable game. It's an interesting game, but I dare say that it's not a good one. But I'm still glad I played it because, you know, it was an experience. I have no idea how much a copy of Path of Radiance is. I'm very curious now. How much is Path of Radiance? Ryasat say, what game do you like? I have been really enjoying Saga 3, Final Fantasy Legend 3. It's a good story-based game that I've been playing on the channel. I also am going to be playing Hades next week, I've decided. Yo, Vaporeon coming in with Sonic Adventure 1 aged poorly. I mean, Sonic Adventure 1 was had a few issues on launch. It's not that it aged poorly, it's that it kind of came out of the gate a little poorly. It was an interesting game, and it did some interesting things. It's still a worthwhile experience, and, like, the opening level is one of the best opening levels ever. But I don't think it's fair to say that it aged poorly because it kind of came out of the gate poorly in a lot of ways. And I say that in a loving way. Skyrim is a game. I just wish the entire meta had been fixed. Well, there's no such thing as a Skyrim meta. If you're playing Skyrim and you are looking at guides to figure out a meta, then I will actually dare say that you're playing the game wrong. Your smile is huge. Aw, thank you! Thank you, Akia. You're so kind. And yes, I love Oblivion. Oblivion is a fantastic game. I loved it. I think Oblivion... Okay, Skyrim does a lot of things better than Oblivion, but I think I still enjoyed Oblivion more overall. I think I liked how Oblivion worked as a game. Oh, you like my voice? You know, I didn't like my voice until I started streaming. I actually didn't enjoy my own voice until I started streaming and I started to, well, appreciate myself. It's not easy to appreciate yourself. Like, that's a hard thing to do. I recommend you all try it. Go, like, try to find, try to find something about yourself that you enjoy, right? And be proud of it. Be proud of yourself, friends. And, yeah, even something that you don't like, you'll find a way to turn it into something that you do. You'll find a way to turn something that you don't like into something valuable. Where was I on this? What? Oh, right. So, Skyrim. I remember seeing somebody say that, oh my gosh, I found an exploit in Skyrim. You go and you mine iron ore, and you can mine an infinite amount of iron ore if you spend time doing it, and then you go to a blacksmith, and instead of selling the ore, you craft it into daggers, and then you sell the daggers for money. And that way you can level up your mining and your smithing skills and your barter skills. And I'm just like, my brother, my friend, my dude, that's not an exploit. That's a job. Like, that's not an exploit. That is playing the game as intended. You're playing the game as a sim where you are getting money by working a 9-to-5 job, mining ore, and then smithing it. Like, of course, like, oh, I can't believe, and like everyone's tone around that time was treating it like some major exploit. Everyone was treating it as though it was some, like, wild and crazy trick. It's like, this is not a trick. it's just playing the game with a job. You are going into work and working a 9-to-5 and getting money for it and getting paid at the end of the day for it. I can't believe they let this into the game. Why not? I wonder if Jade power levels in Oblivion using controllable major skills to modify leveling so they can optimize their skills. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will do a little bit of bonkers things on enchanting in Oblivion because enchanting is comically broken and fun to play with. But by and large, I play it just to relax. Like, I just go log in Oblivion and go stab things. Like, yeah, just run around. I don't see the value in optimizing it. It's not like I'm playing against somebody where I need to win. It's not like I have a team where I need to beat content. It's not like I have difficulty beating content. You see what I'm saying? It's not that if I have trouble beating content, then I will optimize until I can clear content. And this is different from how I view, like, MMOs, for example, or MOBAs. There, yeah, you need to optimize because optimizing is the game. You optimize because the game is about optimization and creating the best build. Monster Hunter. You optimize in Monster Hunter because Monster Hunter is about optimization. But in games that are more narrative focused, I tend to not. In games like Skyrim, Oblivion, or even D&D, I tend not to optimize unless I'm having trouble clearing content, or unless, in D&D, unless everybody else at the table is optimizing. You know what I'm saying? Because in that case, it's like, okay, everybody needs to be on the same level. Your favorite glitch in Skyrim? Put a bucket over NPC's head and steal things. Yeah, that's silly. It's silly, but I like it. I like it because it shows how effective the stealth system is and how meaningful line of sight is. But yeah, it's the silly thing isn't that you can steal stuff with them when they have a bucket over their head. The silly thing is that they don't take the bucket off their head, right? It's not silly that you can steal things when the NPC has a bucket over their head, because yeah, they can't see it. Of course they can't see it, so they're not going to raise an alarm. The silly part is the part that they leave the bucket on their head. Playing game is pleasure. It helps us refresh our mind. Absolutely, Maria. Absolutely, Maria. Mifta. Is that just Mifta? Hello, welcome. Maria Mifta, you're absolutely right. Playing a game is healthier than watching TV. Playing a game is better for your brain mind than doing something passive, because at least in a game, your mind is actively thinking about things. You are exercising your thoughts. You are thinking about what's going on, as opposed to turning off your brain and just sitting in front of a television. I mean, at least with a stream, in streaming, you have extra commentary. You know, you have the experience of the game and you have the experience of the person talking, so you have extra there, right? You know, you have a bit more going on. But in a... I got the name right? Okay, great. It's a very nice name. I like it. But yeah, streaming, but yeah. Watching streamers and or playing games is healthier than watching a TV show, a sitcom, a sports game, because those you don't think about. Mostly. I mean, if you're sitting down watching a documentary, like if you're sitting down and watching a documentary or about history or about science, yeah, that's awesome. You're thinking about it. You're actively engaging your brain mind as you're watching it. But let's be honest here, most people aren't. Like, most people aren't doing that, right? Most people are sitting down and just putting on whatever happens to be on and just turning their brain off. And that's kind of sad, I think. At least I think it is. Oh my gosh, Aw, well, I love you too. I love all of you. Biggest gripe in Skyrim is that it has a problem with scaling damage. If you poorly optimize skills, you run the risk of, Yeah, that's true. But you can also fix the scaling issue by getting good, right? The game never scales so poorly that you actually are going to have difficulty in clearing content, right? By and large. Unless your build is cataclysmically bad, in which case, okay, you might need to adjust it. But by and large, you can beat anything in Skyrim at any point in Skyrim. Like, it'll never outscale your ability to play. With a halfway decent strategy and with a halfway competent build. Now, speedrunning optimizations you bring up is completely different. If you're speedrunning, then you have to completely rethink the entire game. I love speedrunning. Speedrunning is a big part of what got me into streaming. Watching GDQ events and watching a couple of various speedrunners is something that I do all the time. Whenever GDQ is on, I am almost always watching it. The last one, we ended up watching a bunch of it in my Discord channel. And, yeah. Wait, what is it? Wow. Sorry, just looking at a thing. Hello, Pikachu and Proud. Are you saying your alchemy speech and smithing only run might be why everything one-shots me? No, absolutely not. If you have alchemy, speech, and smithing only, A, you can talk your way out of most trouble. B, you can smith the best armor, so you're not going to get one-shot. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And if you do get hit, you have high enough alchemy that you can heal. You can survive. That build is about attrition. All you need to do is poke them with a dagger, you know, every once in a while, but they can't hurt you. You're invincible. You have infinite potions, and you have ridiculously high armor. You told the bandit to stab you, but they still did. Fair. Do I play PUBG? I do not. I play Valorant, though. I do play Valorant and enjoy that game a lot. I never got into PUBG. Or Fortnite, for that matter. But, you know. But, yeah, my game of choice of that style, of the first-person shooter, is either Valorant or the non-PvP games, like Sniper Ghost Warrior, or Cyberpunk, or, you know, things like that. So, I respect PUBG. I think it's a very good game, and it sparked an entire genre. But it's not the kind of game that I usually play myself. If I was playing, you know, I might play it at some point. Real talk, it always made me sad that bandits will try to surrender, but you can't accept it. Yeah, I agree, right? Like, that should be a check, right? That should be a check. If you have a high enough speech, or maybe even high enough strength as an intimidation stat, you know, if you have the stats for it, you should be able to accept them. I think you should be able to even go beyond that. You should be able to become a bandit leader. I want to be able to talk to the bandits. I think that you should be able to carry on a conversation with the bandits and be like, hey, make that a new path. Make that a new, you know, like a new guild quest. Become the bandit king. Let's turn Skyrim into One Piece. Yeah, no, they can't surrender. You like watching PUBG too, but you can't play it? That's fair. That's understandable. I mostly like playing narrative games. I like playing games that have a storyline. You know, that have games that actually have a beginning, a middle, and an end. if you enjoy me and if you enjoy the channel, go check out some of my playlists. Final Fantasy VI is still, I think personally, I think that's my best series on the channel. But if you want something that's a little bit more actiony, the Outer Worlds playlist is pretty good too. Or Elden Ring. But yeah, I tend to prefer games that have a storyline because then, well, I learn about it. I guess it's really just simplistic to call it what it is, because then I'm learning about the game world and I'm experiencing it. You know, I'm experiencing a book in a sense, and I like that. You love easy games, Stardew Valley? My kryptonite for easy games is Bloons. Bloons Tower Defense, if you're familiar with that one. If you want a good, easy game to relax with, Bloons Tower Defense is just phenomenal. In Oblivion, it's so funny. If you max out, enemies will run up to you but do nothing. If you smack a guard, they will pay your fine. Yeah, Oblivion Speech was silly. You know, Oblivion Speech had that silly minigame, though, which was kind of fun, though, right? The Oblivion Speech minigame was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed that. It didn't make any sense. It was complete nonsense, but it was enjoyable. You can't play easy games, they make me sleepy. I actually fell asleep to playing Bloons Tower Defense 5 for years. I would just curl up with that game on my phone and play it before bed for like an hour every single night. It was so relaxing. It was so nice. I haven't done that in a little while. Now I still play it. I still play the new Bloons Tower Defense. It's still a great game. But yeah, I used to play it every night before bed. It's like do 1 or 2 maps. Me learning that Jade wants to be a bandit boss kobold. True! I mean, who wouldn't, right? Like, who doesn't want to be a bandit boss? Yo, Bloons Tower Defense stream when? Yeah, I could do that. I'd be delighted. I won't make it like a big series or anything because I tend to, you know, that's one of my relaxing games like I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. It's the kind of game that I just, you know, vibe with. But yeah, that would be basically a chat stream. You think easy games are good? You can level up easily? Yeah, exactly. I like easy games, but I don't like games that require you to pay. I mean, I want to pay up front. I want to pay up front for a game. I don't want a game that's free to play that requires you to spend a bunch of money on it. And a lot of easy games take that path because it's the easy path. But games like Bloons Tower Defense, you spend $6 on the game and you have the game and you never need to buy anything. You can if you want to, but you never have to. And I feel like a lot of mobile games, a lot of phone games, you have to spend money at some point. Abirra likes fighting games. You know, I have a fight stick. The fighting game I enjoy most is Smash Brothers. I like playing, I can't say I'm a high-level Smash player, but I could say I'm a medium. I'm better than the scrub tier, you know? I'm better than the bad Smash players, I guess. I played a lot of Street Fighter 4, a lot of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and a lot of Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Smash Brothers isn't a fighting game. It absolutely is. Smash Brothers is a fighting game that has extra stuff in it. Smash Brothers isn't a party game with a fighting game mode. It's a fighting game with a party game mode. You understand the difference when I say that? Like, Smash Brothers, you can play it as a party game with items and smash attacks and all the silly stages that do weird stuff, and just have a good time with friends. But if you strip Smash Brothers down to its core, you have a very good, powerful game in there. You have a very interesting and dynamic game in there. Smash Brothers at its core is a good fighting game. It is. And taking those things away, taking away all those additional pieces, doesn't make the game lesser. It's still Smash Brothers. It's just Smash Brothers with more moving parts. And I like that. You like a bubble shooter? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one. Let's see here. Morrowind is still your favorite Elder Scrolls. Morrowind is still a fantastic one, but it did not age well. want so much for Morrowind. Okay, so if you don't know, people are making a mod for Skyrim that lets you play Morrowind in the Skyrim engine. And I am incredibly excited for that. I am so hyped for that. It's because I want to play Morrowind again, but I don't want to play Morrowind on the Morrowind engine. I want to play Morrowind so much, but like, Morrowind itself, I don't really want to go back to it. It's just so rough around the edges. It's just requires so many mods for eases of life. The graphics are catastrophically bad. I mean, the graphics did not age gracefully. The graphics aged like a fine milk. The only Smash game you feel has no core is Brawl? That's fair, actually. That's fair. But like, when Morrowind comes out for Skyrim, when they have Morrowind on the Skyrim engine, then I will play it, and because also Skyrim VR allows mods. Skyrim VR lets you play modded games, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I love it. You know, let me toss this in chat, because I didn't put it in the description. But we do also have a Discord community, if anybody's interested in hopping in there. I usually have that in the description, but I forgot today. Actually, I didn't forget. I removed it because I was nervous that having links to things outside of YouTube might hurt my YouTube algorithms. Because I know that TikTok does that. TikTok will slaughter you if you put YouTube links in a TikTok description. If you try to link off of TikTok, TikTok will bury your video. Absolutely bury it. You can't even say YouTube. If you say the word YouTube on TikTok, then your video will get buried. Your views will go down to nothing. I do like TikTok, but I don't love it. I like YouTube a lot more. I like YouTube much more than TikTok, but I like TikTok. I think it's a cool system. I think it's a cool app. I think it's something I want to be doing more stuff on. You know, I want to make more stuff on TikTok. And the nice thing is that anything I make on TikTok, I can upload as a YouTube short. Now, YouTube Shorts is like TikTok, but better in basically every way. YouTube Shorts are the best part of TikTok, and ignores the worst part. So that's my take on that. Is that I like short form content. You know, I like skits. I like making these short little content joke videos, and I will in the future. I'm trying to work on a couple of different things. I'm having some issues with my new model that's still in production, which has just been an absolute nightmare. I need to find a 3D modeler that can work on my model, and I'm having so much trouble finding somebody. It's painful. I'm in great pain for trying to find it, but I will keep trying. What I have so far is amazing, though. It'll be beautiful when it comes out. That's kind of you with like you in Daggerfall. That's fair. I can be your model? Aww. I don't know, how posable are you? Hold on one brief moment here. Return. Sorry about that. Had to grab some more water. You would love for me to pose you? Aww. Well, maybe. We'll consider it. You think you're pretty enough? Well, good. I think you're pretty as well. And as long as you believe in yourself and believe that you're pretty, that's what counts. You know, believe in yourself. Family is like a fine wine. You know, I've never been huge into family stuff, personally. I don't know. I like my family. I've met them a few times. They're kind of cool. Family connection has never been as important to me as I know it is for other people. Yeah, but Jade, we are your true Vaporeon. Yes, you are my family all here as well. And I appreciate that. Let's see. So I have... Where's my game list? Here we go. So I have a lot of games that I'm waiting for my next model to do. But I also have a lot of games that I can just start playing. I enjoyed Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb was a really fun game. And it came out at a great time. And I played it exactly at the time it came out and when it was big, and I got some good traction out of it, which is also important. And, yeah, good, enjoyable game. It was fun. Can you also be my family? Sure, yeah, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you. Luck. So, I'm going to go back and play Hades. I really enjoyed Hades. Fantastic game. Highly recommend it. A little on the hard side if you max out the difficulty, but perfectly reasonable if you don't. I'm going to start a new Hades run from scratch. Complete scratch. I've beaten the game. I've beaten the game on a respectable heat, but you did before because you like, aw, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to be starting Hades on Monday. And that is kind of like an ideal roguelike for me. Because every run is different and unique, but you have more control over what you do than you do in Cult of the Lamb. Because in Cult of the Lamb, you get the weapon and spell decided for you at the beginning of each run. You can decide very little at the beginning of each run. And when you get the cards, you can choose one of two. In Hades, you have more control. You choose your weapon. You choose your weapon upgrades. You choose your character path upgrades, and then in each individual run, you get to pick. That's when you pick your spells and your passive abilities. Your the equivalent of the cards in Cult of the Lamb. But it's very similar in the way of having a very interesting story outside of the battle system. When you go back to your base, you're experiencing more of the story. It's not the same town builder and world builder that Cult of the Lamb is, but it is more narrative. It has a better plotline. It has a plotline. Having a plotline is a big part of having a better plotline, you see. Cult of the Lamb didn't really have much of a plot, but it was a fun game. It was an enjoyable game, and I liked it. And Rifa, it's a pleasure to have you in the family. But yeah, I am looking for 3D modelers. If anybody knows one, you can send me their portfolio. The hard thing is, like, I'm looking for a certain quality. I'm looking for a certain type of 3D modeler. One, I don't want someone that just makes VR chat models. I want somebody who makes, video game models. And, well, a lot of them I either have, full-time jobs working at a studio, or are not doing those style of commissions. A lot of people are doing commissions for, like, generic VR chat models, which is not exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. I have this idea of how the character is going to come out. Yeah, exactly. Video game models. That's kind of, yeah, my next model is going to be a lot more video gamey as opposed to this little live 2D thing. So look forward to that. That should be by the end of the year, ideally, unless things go catastrophically wrong, like they have been. I've had troubles. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I'm putting a lot of work into it. And when it happens, it'll be magnificent. It'll be beautiful. It'll be wonderful. Do you only need female models? Model as in 3D model is not live model. That it's a model as in a video game model. I assume that if that's what if I understand what you're asking correct. So no, I'm not looking for models in terms of like, you know, someone to paint or whatnot. I'm looking for somebody who can make a 3D model of this character, which is currently just the live 2D model. Yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, Hades should be fun. I really enjoy Hades, the game. And we're going to be continuing on with it's Saga 3. And once we beat Saga 3, we'll probably go on to Second Densetsu 3, which is a Secret of Mana 3. Because that's a game that's been on my radar for a long time that I've wanted to play. And I'm going to play the remake first, I think. But if it does well and if people really enjoy it, Second Densetsu 3 has a lot of replay ability. Because you choose one of 6 characters, and you can replay the game using a different character. You can replay the game, and it has a lot of story beats depending on who's in your party. How is school for anyone who has started? That is a good question. I have not been in school in a hot minute. It's been a little while since I've been in a school. Terrifying places, truly. No, I actually went to a fairly posh school. I was very fortunate. But how about you guys? Are you guys in... Or tell us how long it's been since you've been in school. I know some of my audience skews a bit older. Not all of them. I have a wide audience. And a very international audience. Which I appreciate so very much. It's so nice to know that I have people who like me all across the world. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is someone else is making Fallout New Vegas in the Fallout 4 engine. And I don't love the Fallout 4 engine. I would actually rather play New Vegas in the Fallout New Vegas engine. But, again, Fallout 4 engine supports mods. So if they make Fallout New Vegas in the Fallout 4 engine, which somebody has been working on doing, that just straight up means that I can play Fallout, that just means that I can play Fallout New Vegas in VR. And I am just incredibly excited for that, because, like, imagine playing through your favorite game in a more immersive setting. Like, you know, like Morrowind and New Vegas, both of those games I want to play in VR, and I can't do either of them until their new launches come out. You know, I'm gonna go check on this. I'm gonna check on both of these right now live. Beyond Skyrim. Here we go. Collaboration between several modding teams creating a huge content expansion mods for Skyrim, and they have Bruma, the first pre-release. So you can actually play through this, which I... Oh, have I checked out Fallout Miami? Oh, I forgot about that. That's actually a really good point, Brekik. Fallout Miami would be a good game to play. I think I might do that. Expedition to Atmora. Where is that in there? I have no idea. And Morrowind. So, are these still early in development then? The last developer diary was 2 years ago. So pretty safe to say that's being slow. Mora Rim, I think, was the name of this one. Skywind, that's what it's called. Welcome, Moon and Star. Skywind is a total recreation of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind game, built from the ground up in Skyrim Special Edition engine. When? You can volunteer to be a part of it. I should volunteer for voice acting if they need it. Yeah, they're keeping their release targets private for now, which is fair and reasonable, but boy howdy, is it also kind of sad. I will actually volunteer, come to think of it. I actually will do that, and I will volunteer to work on this project with them. They are... okay. Hundreds of NPCs need to be voiced. Team focuses on accomplishment of this goal with the help of studio professionals and amateurs. Auditions to be a voice actor are done through Skywind's casting... oh, Casting Call Club Edition page. Oh, okay. Nice. I will submit that in about 2 weeks when I actually have my voice acting, what was it called? Demo reel. Because I'm getting a demo reel done. If you guys remember the wonderful Kennedy Phillips, the guy who I did the Inscription playthrough with, he's going to be doing a demo reel with me. But what is this Fallout Miami? Isn't there also a Fallout Brazil thing as well? Or is that something else? Yeah, what if I actually became an NPC in Morrowind? Like, how hype would that be, right? How hype would that be? Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so Fallout Miami, right here. Adventure in the Vacation Wasteland. I love the flamingos, these dire flamingo looks. That's cool as heck. And very fitting for, like, the Florida vibe. And yeah, Florida is all swamps, right? Is this done? Is this actually launched? Releases? Standalone releases. What is this? Oh, it's an episodic mod. So it looks like has an episode. What does that even mean to have an episode out? I have no idea. They have semi-weekly dev streams. We can watch the devs working on it. I want it to be done. Fallout Florida. So normal Florida. Yeah, pretty much. I have been to Florida like once or twice, and it's... well, I guess it was more like the amusement park area, so it wasn't like it wasn't reality, right? It wasn't actual Florida. It was, fantasy Florida. And Project Brazil. This is the one. New California. This one actually came out, right? I think Fallout New California actually released, in which case I should play it. I don't know if I should stream it. Let me know if you want me to stream that. I wouldn't be opposed. Yeah, Fallout New California actually is out. You play as the kid from Vault 18, Orphan Loner Mutant. On the night of the big Vault Ball in 2260, you make a fateful decision that will change the course of your life, and eventually the future of the NCR. Okay, so NCR all the way out in yeah, New California. I definitely want to try this out. Okay, yeah. Is Fallout London a thing? I don't know. It's maybe, it's a mod. Let me see. Fallout 4 London. So many of these releases that are things that have been worked on for years, right? So many of these things have been worked on for dozens of years and never hit launch. And if what was it? And if this one actually hit launch, yeah, I want to experience it. Yeah, I want to try it. Yeah, I want to play. I want to live that life. Fallout London is an ambitious, trailblazing DLC-sized mod for Fallout 4. Interest in joining the team? Okay, so it is not done yet. Releases? Okay, so they have a couple of weapon releases. which is actually pretty cool. I like this idea. Okay, so the idea is to add, you know, more European flair stuff. This suit of armor style creature, you know. Neat outfits. Okay. I'm gonna try that out. That might be fun. I think New California is one that I will try out for sure. So many of these giant mods have been working on for years. Have been worked on for like, you know, 5 or 6 years, and it's like I just hope they come out. I just want them to release. I just want them to actually see the light of day. Will I play it? I will. I will play many of these when they come out, but I would like to wait for them to actually come out, you know? I don't want to play them until they're actually launched. That's kind of how I feel about it, is like, I don't want to play the work-in-progress version, I want to play the completed version. That's how I feel about it. Let's see here. Yeah. So those are definitely games that I will play when they are available. I like to wait until things are ready to be played, you know? I try not to buy early access games. Anytime a game comes out in early access, I avoid it. Yeah. Just every time a game comes out and launches in early access, I avoid it until it launches. Because I want to play the game that's done, and I don't want to ruin my experience. There's been a few games where I've had my experience ruined by playing the version of the game that was early access before the game came out. And that feels bad. What do I think about the game themes? Which game's themes? About the VFX? You mean about those mods? Is that what you're referring to? Or about... I'm not quite sure I parse what you're asking. Oh, yeah. So, Morrowind being ported into Skyrim engine so I can play that in Skyrim VR would be fantastic. And the themes of Morrowind, I think, would translate well into Skyrim, except for the perk... Well, you'd have to overhaul the perk system, but the perk system is overhaulable through mods anyways. So I think that the graphics in there, the graphics upgrade, will make Morrowind approachable to a new audience. But even putting the VR aside, I think that having the experience of Morrowind available to a new generation of people who don't have to jump through hoops to play it, you know, like, because the old one is hard to play, I think that would be a very good idea. For something like New Vegas porting out into Fallout 4, Fallout 4 is not as good an engine. Fallout 4 is too restrictive. Fallout 4 cuts too many corners from the original. A game like Fallout 4 focuses more on action than it does on RPG elements, whereas Fallout has been more of an RPG game. And the same is true of Skyrim as Skyrim as well. Skyrim is not as much of an RPG as Oblivion or as Morrowind. Those are just more RPGs. Those are games where the RPG elements of the game are more important and more pronounced. And in Skyrim, it feels like Skyrim is more actiony, right? It's more actiony, it's more focused on throwing flashy spells and hitting people with axes. Less about your build, less about how you spend points and skill up and stuff like that. And that's not inherently a bad thing, and obviously it works for them. I mean, Skyrim is a very well-known game and a very good game. Like, I'm not saying that it isn't. I just... Especially, it hits me for Fallout than it does for Skyrim, honestly. But it feels like the games are missing part of that heritage. What action games do I like? For action games, one of my favorite action games is Monster Hunter. Yeah. Monster Hunter is a phenomenal game series. I've loved pretty much every entry since I started it. And I started it during Monster Hunter I started it 4. So I played, 4, World, Double Cross, Rise. I need to get the Rise, the new version of Rise. But those are my favorite action games, are the Monster Hunter ones. Outside of that, I would probably say Valorant for the competitive action game. And then after that, what would I say after that? I would probably say one of the sniper games. Sniper Elite, Sniper Ghost Warrior. I really like sniping games because they're relaxing. They're action games, but they're also more like puzzle games, you know? It's an action game that is in truth a stealth game. It's action adjacent. And then I do also like the action adventure games, like Zeldas and stuff. Like Zelda games are action adventure, I guess. Okay, Abirra, would you consider Zelda to be an action game? There's my question for you. Do you think of Zelda as an action game or not? Because you could go either way. Both ways are correct. Neither one is wrong. But is Zelda an action game or not? Because you could say it's an RPG because you talk to people, you get quests, you have, a storyline. You could say that it's an action game because most of the action is in combat and you are fighting things and swinging a sword. That's how the game works. You swing swords and hit enemies. You could say that it's adventure because it has a lot of exploration. You're finding paths, you're playing through worlds. It's kind of all of them. You don't play it? Okay. I recommend it. I mean, if you have a system for it, they're great games, but fair enough. That's a fair answer. But which one is an action game, right? So don't be sorry, you're fine. How? So, as far as action games, yeah, that's my answer in there. Adventure RPG, yeah, I don't know. In general, the entire concept of adventure games has meant so many different things, and same with RPG, same with action. It's such a vague term. At least first-person shooter tells you a more strict definition of what defines as a first-person shooter, because a Zelda game could never be a first-person shooter because you're not in first person and you don't shoot things. So, right out of the gate, that is a pretty well-established answer, is first-person shooter has that, whereas action or RPG doesn't. I remember at one of the video game awards, I don't remember what year, it was after Monster Hunter World came out, and Monster Hunter World won Best RPG. And I'm just like, that's not even an RPG. Monster Hunter World isn't a role-playing game. It's not. By its nature, Monster Hunter is an action game. It's an action adventure. There's RPG elements, but Call of Duty has RPG elements nowadays. Is that going to be in line to win something for RPGs? And I think some other really good RPGs came out that same year. I think maybe was that when Persona 5 came out? Maybe, I don't know. But there were some other good RPGs that came out, and it's wow, they all lost to something that wasn't a bloody RPG. Cheers, Vaporeon. Usually compare Breath of the Wild to something like Witcher 3. That's fair, I guess. 2018 was World. Was that what RPGs was that then? That it lost to it. There were a lot of good RPGs in that time. Yeah, Octopath Octopath Traveler was one of them. And it's just no. Octopath Traveler is an RPG and Monster Hunter World is not. Octopath Traveler was a phenomenal game. Really loved that game. I fully cleared it, so I kind of want to replay it and stream it, but I also kind of don't because I've already played all of it and I kind of want to experience a new game as well, That's one of those tough choices that I have to make, right? I guess it really comes down to audience. If people enjoy that and if people want to watch it, then I'll play it. Suggest you more adventure games. Sure. I would recommend Monkey Island. Monkey Island is the traditional definition of an adventure game, where it's a puzzle-solving game. It's a narrative puzzle-solving game. But Monkey Island, you can get Monkey Island Special Edition on Steam for I think like $15 now or something like that, maybe 20. But fantastic game, hilarious. It's a comedy. It is a comedy, and I love it. And yeah, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle adventure game, in the traditional definition of adventure games, which are very puzzle focused. But if you're looking for more of like a Zelda style adventure, I mean, Zelda of course is the best answer for that. Barring that, I would say Shantae. Shantae is a great adventure game. Shantae Half Genie Hero is on Steam relatively cheap as well. Just a couple of ideas. If you like the narrative adventure game that's less about combat, that's just mostly just about story, then Monkey Island and Disco Elysium. Two very different games, but two of the best games I've ever played. Also, yes, I do know that there is a new Monkey Island. No, I will not be streaming it. Yes, I will be playing it. Oh, that's another one. Record of the Lotus War. There's a Record of the Lotus War game that came out a year and a half ago, I want to say, maybe last year, that was outstanding. It's called Wonder Labyrinth, Record of the Lotus War, Wonder Labyrinth. And that game was phenomenal. I really enjoyed my time with that game. I do have streams of that on the channel if you want to search through playlists. That I did play that live, and I just absolutely gushed about how much I liked the game through every stream. Oh, it was a delight. It was an absolute delight. Oh, that's another thing I was thinking about playing. I was thinking about playing The Messenger. Because after I beat Tanuki, the Tanuki Justice game, it made me think of The Messenger, which is another game... Oops, I am off camera. It made me think... There we go. Tanuki Justice made me think of The Messenger. The Messenger does a lot of what Tanuki Justice does, but The Messenger handles it a little bit better, in my humble opinion. It is another retro game, but it's a retro game that has you travel between the NES and the Super Nintendo eras, and oh yeah, that's right, Everland. That's the other game I was gonna play on the channel. Oh heck, I might do that instead of I might do that instead of Hades. Actually, come to think of it, that's what I was gonna be playing. I forgot that game existed. Hello, Sapphire. Welcome. You're a wonderful being. Yeah, Everland was gonna be the game I was gonna play. Yeah. Okay, that's going up on Monday. I'm glad that I remembered this because I do want to play it. Or maybe I'll do Hades. I don't know. Maybe I should make a poll out of it. You know what? Let's do a poll. Let's try that. How do I do a poll again? There we go. So Everland is... So these are all games that come across with different... How do I... let me pull up a browser window so I can show you all of these before I put the poll, so you all know what you're getting into, okay? Okay. So Everland, I have not played, which is a good thing. You know, that I want to experience it. The idea of Everland is that you... Can I get some images? There we go. Is that you are playing through a world that evolves from the Game Boy era into the me just open this link directly. So you are evolving from the Game Boy era to the Super Nintendo era into a more 3D world. So that's one option here. Second option is Hades, which is a beautiful, stunning game where you play as a Greek god pushing through all the pits of hell to escape out yeah, your father is Hades, and you are trying to defeat him so that you can escape hell where you were born. Third option is The Messenger, an excellent there we go. It's up here. An excellent retro game where you play as a ninja warrior who charges through a world of monsters and enemies with a excellent sprite work. The graphics in that game really are fantastic. So, Hades, which is a more modern game that... why is this not a good picture? Why can't I'm not seeing an actual good picture here. There we go. That's better. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can actually see it. So, Everland, Hades, or The Messenger. Poll is going up now. Take your time with it. Have I played Death's Door? I have not played Death's Door. What is that? Let me see what that is. I am curious. Ah. Oh, so it's an adventure-y game. Okay. Looks like... Is it a roguelite, by the guessing? Oh, no. Oh, Devolver Digital. I respect that. Oh, it's single player, full. Let me see tags. Give me the tag list. Action adventure RPG, action adventure, action RPG, hack and slash, exploration, isometric, dungeon crawler, 3D platformer, Souls-like, 3D, colorful, dark fantasy, third-person indie, single-player fantasy, Metroidvania combat. That is interesting. I could be convinced. I could be convinced. I could be convinced. Looks like people are interested. I'll leave the poll up for a little while, but it looks like Hades is in the lead. Which makes sense. It's a very pretty game. It's a very flashy game, and it's also very similar to a game that we've played on the channel recently. So, and a game I would love to play again. Like I said, I've played the game and beaten it, and I've loved every minute of it. You know? 10 out of 10, do recommend. We'll play. Everland is definitely a game that is on my radar. Maybe I should play that during the next Go-Go Game Jam, because that's going to be A, a big game jam that's going to come up, and B, that'll be a more of a game dev journey experience rather than just playing it. And I've already beaten them. I've already full cleared. I've already platinumed the Messenger, so I don't necessarily need to play it again. But if you guys wanted that experience, then, you know, I'd enjoy that. Alright, out of 10 votes, we have 80%. Wow! Wow! Out of all our votes, we have 80% of them going towards Hades. Okay, Hades on Monday. Hades Monday evening. Absolutely, I'm down. I'm here for it. I love the game. So look forward to that. Yeah, we'll do that on Monday. I'll start with a fresh save file. So you'll get to see you'll get to experience the entire game. I've only streamed Hades live once before, but that was as an emergency. Will I play it? Yes, I'll play it on Monday. Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, wherever that translates to local time for you. And then the thing is, you don't have to watch me live, because I'll have the VOD on my channel. You know, you can go and watch it whenever you want to. That's the nice part about being a YouTuber as opposed to being on Twitch, you know? If you miss a stream, you can watch it. Whereas if you miss a stream on Twitch, it's gone forever, right? So, yeah. I'm excited. I am very excited, actually. Hades was a great game. I haven't played it since it came out? When did Hades come out? That came out in... Yeah, that came out in 2020. So that was 2 years ago. So I haven't played the game in about a year. In about a year and a half, maybe. So that's going to be... I might not be as good at it as I was. I played fairly high level when I played it, but that was a while back. Hold on, I'll be right back. One moment, please. I returned triumphantly. So. The other game we're playing on the channel right now is Saga 3, which is I've really been enjoying. Saga 3 has been a really impressive experience. I didn't expect to like it going in, and I fell in love with the game playing it. So we're also going to be continuing that. So Monday, Friday at 5 o'clock Pacific is going to be Hades. And then Wednesday, Saturday is going to be Saga 3, or Final Fantasy Legend 3. And then Thursday will be, again, a variety. It'll either be a chatting stream or a collab or some other one-off that I feel like doing in any given moment. So that's my general schedule. And it has worked really well for me. I've been considering switching my day off to Wednesday instead of Tuesday, but at this point, I'm happy with my schedule. You know what I'm saying? I am dropping Brock the Investigator. It was a great game that I recommend playing, but it wasn't a great game to stream, you know? It wasn't getting anybody in to watch, and I wasn't elevating the game, you know? Me playing Cult of the Lamb, I was elevating the game with my dialogue, with my commentary, with my discussion points. I felt like I was making the game experience better by being a part of it as I present it to you guys. And that's the goal. That's the goal of a streamer. That is the goal of what every streamer wants to do, is to say that this game, this experience, is excellent. And people are going to enjoy this experience even more because I am here with it. Because they're experiencing it with me. And that just wasn't happening with Brock, you know? And partially that's because the game was so good on its own. The game was so good on its own that it didn't need me. It didn't need me. And then it was fully voiced as well, and it had a lot going on, and I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was going to help me. I don't think it was going to help me grow, and I don't think it was as enjoyable to watch. If I'm wrong, please flood the comment section with that, right? If I'm wrong, flood the comment section with it. But based on the metrics that I have, such as view count and responses and comments, people weren't that into it. So I'm gonna set it down, nod my head, thank it for being a cool game, and move on. I cannot wait to be big enough that I can play these niche indie games and make that, and still get 1,000 views, play these niche indie games and still get, 40 people in chat. I'm not getting 40 people in chat outside of the Game Jam stuff anyways. So I can't afford to play games that people are not excited about. That's really what it is. It's about excitement, right? I need to play games that people are excited to go, oh, Jade streaming this? Oh, I can't wait to watch that. And, well, I think Hades is going to be a bit more like that. And Saga 3 I'm playing for me. You know, that'll be honest with y'all. I'm playing Saga 3 more for me than anything, and that's something I just have to do. And I'm enjoying and I'm loving it. And I hope that, and I think that my experience with that, sharing my experience with that, is making it much better. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a weird internet lizard. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a weird internet lizard doing their best. Sometimes it works. And when it works, well, I feel really good and proud of myself. Yeah. And I like feeling proud of myself. Is the summary of the story. That's the summary of my life right now. Is, you know, I like feeling proud of myself. And I hope you guys are proud of me too, because I'm proud of you. You guys are doing great. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Any Q&A shenanigans? Feeling proud of yourself is a good feeling. It's one that we should all strive for, you know? If you're ever not proud of yourself, then you should meditate on why. Think about, you know, what led you to where you are and say, if I'm not proud of myself, what do I need to do? Not what do I need to have done, right? Don't think about it like, oh, I needed to have done this or that. Don't think about it like that. Think about, what do I need to do to get myself back on track to be someone I can be proud of? And the simple fact is, you should be proud of yourself even if you don't get there. You should be proud of yourself for trying. That can be hard. That can be very difficult to do. But it's worth it. And you want to get yourself back on that track so you can look at yourself and say, wow, I'm proud of who I am as a person. I said it on last stream, I'll say it again. The best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. Because if you planted a tree 10 years ago, you'd be able to sit in its shade today. The second best time to plant a tree is right now, so that you can sit in its shade into the 10 years hence. If you haven't already planted the tree to make your life something that you're proud of right now, get on that path. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Like, just take the plunge. You will fail at the start. Until you learn what you need to do, and until you learn how to improve yourself, and until you learn the tools, you will fail. That's fine. That's good. That's good. It's good to fail, because that failure is how you learn. That failure is how you learn how to improve yourself. You actually want to set yourself up. Don't set yourself up to fail intentionally, but you want to set yourself up to learn and to start working. If you want to make woodwork, if you want to make tables, go in your garage and make a table. Your first table will be bad. It will not be a good table, but you know what? You'll have made your first table, and your next one will be better. And your next one after that will be better. And a year down the line, you'll be making half-decent tables. 3 years down the line, you'll be making really good tables. And 10 years down the line, you will look back and say, wow, I'm glad I started making tables. If you like making tables. I don't like making tables. I like streaming. Same philosophy, though. Same philosophy, though. Same philosophy, though. Yeah, I learned many things today. You teach us. You know, for anybody who doesn't know, I have a background in game development and a background in acting. And streaming is my way of combining these two things. It's a combination of my knowledge of game development and my knowledge of acting. And, well, I do try to be more educational than most streamers, you know? I do try to teach people things. Usually when I'm playing games, it's, you know, talking about what goes into making them, and it's talking about what sort of things are in the weeds of the game, you know, what's in the development path to help the game get to where it was launched. Or just, sometimes it's just memes and jokes, you know? Sometimes it can be both. It can be both. But I do try to teach people. And I think that a lot of people who have found me enjoy the educational aspect of it. So thank you. You saying that means a lot to me. It does. I appreciate that. Sapphire asks, when is Game Jam? And that is an excellent question. I can tell you now that it is going to be happening soon. but we do not have a date. Godot 4 was released, and the next game jam will be a Godot 4 game jam, and it will be spectacular. But it dropped on us before we were aware of it. They didn't let us know that it was coming out. One second here. So that is something that we have to work on. I'm going to actually poke Adrian a whole bunch to figure out when. Tell me about yourself more. Rifat, ask a question. I am here. I will gladly answer questions. I don't know about specifically what you're asking, so I'm not gonna... Yeah. Would you rather have a sack that you could put food in and pull out food from an alternate universe, or a computer that something? What? I'll have to see where the rest of that line's going. But yeah, I've been a game developer, game designer. I have been a voice actor. I have been a physical actor. I have been a stage combat actor. Most of my acting experience is physical. Most of my acting experience is either stage combat with sword and or bow staff or unarmed or, you know, stuff like that, or stunt work, dodging, rolling, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm an actor. Yeah. And then I realized I had this weird thing. Okay, it's weird. I like to pay my bills. Look, I know it's weird, but I'm like into it. I like paying my bills. It's just something that I like doing. So I stopped being an actor. It's true. So I sort of left the acting world. Do I play villain? Actually, yeah, I usually was cast as villain. Let's not dwell on that too much. Oh yes, I do. I have played a couple of villains. So I stopped. So I did less acting. I sort of eased out of the acting world, and moved into the to the games world, making games and making computers that can play games, and then making you know, working on projects that involve games. So I got into the gaming, yeah, game development, game design, and gaming hardware. The gaming hardware is what led to the other ones, and I still do that. And that leads us to today, where I am trying to become a full-time streamer, which will happen within the next couple of years. It's not easy, but it is a process, and it's a process that I will succeed in eventually. It'll just be a hot minute. But I'm getting better. I am getting better at streaming. It's not easy, but it's fun, and it is fulfilling. It fills my heart with joy, similar to when... similar to walking out on a stage, right? Similar to walking out on a stage with dozens of people watching. Oh, I was also a musician for a while. That was also a thing I did. My biggest audience ever was actually as a musician, not as an actor. Well, not counting movies, because movies, I don't know how many. I genuinely don't know how many people watched them, but they weren't there live. The largest live performance I've ever done was as in music. Sing some songs for us? I do not have a good singing voice, friend. I played the trombone. No, my voice, I don't like my voice for singing. I don't, not today at least. Not today at least. Thank you though. Tuzzy says they'll be here for the entire ride. You bet your kidney on it? Well, you know what? If I ever need a kidney, I'll call you out on that. I have a great voice. You know, that means a lot to me. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I used to hate my voice. I used to hate my voice, and it is only since starting... Yes, even as an actor. It is since starting streaming that I have learned to like my voice, and that I've learned to feel more confident with it. So that is something that's relatively new. Trombone Champ stream when? Too many DMCA issues. I have heard of Trombone Champ. It's a cool game, but it's all copyrighted music. I can't play it. If anyone can do it, it's you, Jade. Aww, thank you. That means a lot too. I think I will. It's a process. It's a path, and I've started the path. And like I said, I might not always succeed, but I will always try. And some days, sometimes, once in a while, once in a bit, that's all I can do. so I will. I don't know. Yeah. I am still an introvert. I do still like to, you know, hide once in a while, but streaming is a time where I revel in being an extrovert, I guess. It's where I pretend to be an extrovert on TV. Streaming is when I pretend to be an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert, but I play one on TV. Does that make any sense? But yeah. Trombone Champ, if you don't know about it, is a small indie game where you play a trombone. Oh, and if anyone was wondering, the largest audience was 28,000. It was somewhere between 28 and 35,000. I wish I had the exact number. I really do. I do not have the exact number. Is there any way I could look that up? Maybe I can look that up. Okay, looks like it was around 30, so 31. Okay, so my biggest audience was around 31K. 31 kilo people. That was so much fun. I've mentioned that a few times on the streams before. Really was one of my proudest moments of my life. Let's see here. Y'all read any good books lately? Nona the Ninth just came out. I've not read it yet, though I do have a copy of it. I need to put it on my phone so I can actually get around to reading it. But I am very excited for that book. There's my phone connecting so I can copy my audiobook over. I used to read more books. I used to love reading books. I used to read books constantly. I used to determine my clothing choices based on how many books I could fit in the pocket. That's true. That is completely true. I would not buy a jacket or a pair of pants if I could not fit a soft-cover book in the pocket. That's how much I love reading. And I just kind of stopped. Mostly because nowadays I feel like if I'm at my computer sitting here, I should be working on YouTube. I should be working on something else. I should be, you know, productive or physically productive, right? If I'm doing that, if I'm here and I'm not doing anything else, I should be going out for a walk. I should be going to the hot springs. I should be running around and exercising. So I tried to... It's harder for me to sit down. It's harder for me to justify sitting down to read nowadays. Which feels bad, but I do still read in audiobooks. So if I'm going out to bike, I'll go out and bike for like 20 kilometers or something. Probably more. I'll just go out and bike for a while. And then I'll put an audiobook on in my ear and, you know, just bike for a hot minute. Every once in a while, I'll just completely get lost in the book and then find myself, you know, cycling for multiple hours. But then, you know what? Then I'm having, you know, my time pass, I'm having my exercise in, and I'm getting the book. So I kind of still get my audiobooks in, just differently. Yeah, I still get my reading in, just differently. It's just, you know, harder to read reference stuff, because those don't come out with audiobook stuff. You recommend Ren of Atakala and the rest of the series? If you haven't read it and like fantasy stuff, I will check that out. That sounds interesting. I do love fantasy stuff. Favorite book genre? Ooh, what is my favorite pastime? That's a fun question. I mean, not counting video games, right? Because that is a pastime, but it's also, like, doesn't necessarily apply. I would probably say hiking. I love hiking. I just love going out into the mountains and getting lost. I mean, I haven't died yet, so I must be doing pretty good at it. So, probably hiking or cycling. You've been getting back into the Redwall Chronicles? Oh my gosh, I haven't read Redwall Chronicles for a long time. I loved those books. The Redwall books were amazing. Mariel of Redwall was my hero. She was absolutely my hero growing up. I love those books. My favorite book series probably is either Foundation or the Robot series. I love Asimov. Asimov is probably my favorite author. But I really enjoyed Patrick Rothfuss's series as well. I just can't wait for him to finish it. But that kind of goes into that thing I said before about that thing I said before about wanting to wait for series to be completed, you know? Like, reading the Kingkiller Chronicle and knowing that the next book isn't out yet is just painful. Do I like Harry Potter? I think Harry Potter is fine, but I don't love it. Mostly because of the author. I do not like the person who made Harry Potter. And some of her philosophy, some of her style is in that book as well. So I think Harry Potter books themselves are mostly fine, but I don't like the person who made Harry Potter, which sort of like puts a little bit of a stain on the whole series for me, you know what I'm saying? It just puts a little bit of a damper on my love for the entire series as a whole. Another series I liked was the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. That's a fantastic book series. I enjoyed that book series heavily. I've also read all the Witcher books. I will be playing the Witcher games on the channel in the future, but I've read all the Witcher books, and I like them. They're good. Harkata. I'm also rereading right now, although I'm going to put it on hold because I'm starting up the I'm going to start reading Nona the Ninth because I haven't read it. But I also was rereading the Live Ship Traders series. If you like books of fantasies and dragons, then I recommend Live Ship Trader series, which is a series that does not have any dragons in it. However, I very much enjoyed the next series, the series of books called the Rainwilds Trilogy. But you have to read Live Ship Traders first. If you want a good story about dragons, if you want the best story about dragons that I have ever read, if you like dragons and want to learn about it, go read Live Ship Traders, and then read the Rainwilds. Because the Rainwilds is the best depiction of dragons and that I've ever seen put to page. But you need to read the first series first. Game of Thrones, do I like it? I enjoyed I never saw the TV show, I only read some of the books. I enjoyed the world building, I enjoyed the characters. But I didn't finish them. I enjoyed it a lot, I liked it, but I didn't finish the books. I kind of felt like the author didn't care a lot about the characters. That's just how it came across, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of set it down and didn't pick it back up. Maybe I should finish them. Maybe I ought to finish them. Are all the books out yet? Game of Thrones is your favorite as well? Maybe I should go read those books then. I read... What did I get? I read... I want to say like the first 3 books or so? 4 maybe? I read up until there was a big explosion that burned down a city. Spoilers, I mean, I guess. I don't think it's actually a spoiler because if you haven't read the series then you don't have any clue what I'm talking about, because I don't know what I'm talking about. There was an explosion of some sort of alchemical fire. I remember that, and that's sort of where around when I stopped reading the books. No particular reason, I just set them down and didn't pick them back up again. That happens once in a while, right? Where you just sort of set down a book or a game or a series and be like, that was fun, and walk away and you never play it again, or you never read it again, or you never watch it again. Well, I think we've all done that before, right? Like that's a pretty common thing. Used to read a lot, but school killed your love for books because you had a teacher that put me down since you like graphic novels, and I had to read so much that I didn't care for it. Yeah. I read a lot of books And the ones for school, the ones I had to read because I was forced to, were bad. Because I didn't enjoy them, because I didn't want to read them. And the funny thing is, one year in English class, we had to read The Hobbit. I had already read The Hobbit. I loved it. Fantastic book. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed every moment of reading that book. And then I had to read it for class. And you know what happened? I didn't enjoy it when I read it for class, because then it was forced upon me rather than something I wanted to do. Rather than being something that I desired reading, it was something that I had to read. Yep, The Hobbit. It's the first of the the prequel to the Lord of the Rings, to the Fellowship of the Rings books. Mm-hmm. And because I had to read it, the entire experience was different. It became, I have to read this again. Even though I knew I liked the book. Reading it for class made it a grind. And honestly, I think that if I had read, what's it called? The posh one. Gatsby. The Great Gatsby. If I had read The Great Gatsby on my own, I think I would have enjoyed the book. But because I read it for a class, I didn't. I actually did enjoy reading Huck Finn, because when I was reading it for class, like, I didn't... Actually, there's a thought. Do Americans have to read Huck Finn? Because it's pretty anti-American, actually, now that I think about it. Anyways, because of I had to read that book in class, I enjoyed it, but I got sidetracked and I forgot that I was reading it for class. And the teacher was like, "Hey, now write an essay." And I'm like, "Hey, no, I just read it for fun. I don't want to write an essay." And the teacher wanted me to write an essay about symbolism. And I kid you not, there actually is a valid reason not to write about that. Because let me find this quote. There was a quote about symbolism where Mark Twain actually wrote that anybody who tries to use symbolism in their books should stop doing it and just read for enjoyment. Like, they should stop searching for symbolism and start searching for meaning and just the pleasure of reading. So I actually wrote a 5-page paper about that quote that detailed why we shouldn't look for symbolism for my essay about symbolism in the book. I got a B+ on it, and the teacher straight up said, "Yeah, this is a good paper. You clearly understand what Mark Twain was saying, and you clearly know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, I refused to give you an A because you didn't do the project." I was like, "Yeah, that's fair." Yeah, honestly, that's fair. Reasonable response. Okay, yep, I'll accept that. I'll take my B+ and be happy with it. You know what? Fair enough. You raise a valid point. Oh, wow. Where is that? It was a really visceral quote too, where it's like, anybody who searches for symbolism in my books should be dragged out into the street and shot. Like, it was a really vicious way of phrasing it too. But like, I have to find that. But it was hilarious. You tried to get into reading. You can read for a little bit, but then you have no motivation. I don't know if I don't. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, I don't know if that's something that needs to quote unquote be fixed. Also, that is just that's just you, and that's just fine to be that. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I hope that you were able to find pleasure in reading at some point. Maybe you should try more books on tape. Because I just read books on tape when I'm in the car, or on the train, or bike riding. Like, there's a good amount of time. I don't listen to books on tape when I'm on my motorcycle, because that's too dangerous. Because I will get invested in the book, and I will stop paying attention to the road. And on a car, there's enough bells and whistles in my car that will go wee 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 if I, leave the lane, or if there's a car in front of me. Like, my car will panic if in those situations, so I can sit back and listen to a book on tape. On a motorcycle, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. My silly ADD brain is not going to be listening to a book on tape on a motorcycle, because I will get distracted and I will die. You've been planning to do audiobooks because you love podcasts? Same idea, yeah. If you enjoy podcasts, you should be able to find pleasure in audiobooks. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Huck Finn was required reading? Wow, actually surprising for that, right? Like, that's a pretty anti-American book. I'm actually surprised that was required reading, because they do not go light on how terrible the America was in those books. Sapphire enjoys reading occasionally. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you enjoy that. It is a good thing. We'll go for another 15 minutes or so, just, round out the 2-hour stream. If anyone has any more questions or thoughts or brain thinks, feel free to toss them out. We've covered a lot today. We have discussed several things. And I hope that you've all have had a good time, too. Your biggest issue is that the focusing organ in your eye struggles to readjust after reading too long. Oh, that's fair. I have had that, where you're so invested in the book, and then and then your eyes are just like, well, our eyes are in book reading mode now. I don't know what else they should be doing. Mahi does not like reading. I would say try a book on tape. Try getting a book on tape and then putting it on while you're exercising or working out or doing something like that. Because, really, reading is, it's just listening to stories. And if you're going to be listening to stories on YouTube or TikTok or just listening to music, there's a chance you might get more out of a book. Maybe not. I'm just saying it might be worth trying. You might surprise yourself. So I would say try looking for a book that you might like, and find an audiobook version of it, and just give it a shot. Worst case scenario, you're out $10 for the audiobook download. Best case scenario, you find a new hobby that is pleasurable. Easy enough. Worth a couple hours trying. Haven's been playing on the Switch on handheld mode too? Oh, interesting. Haha. It's really an interesting experience when you stop reading a book and you look around and you say, "Where am I?" You just reading a book for several hours while walking around through the woods, and then you finish a chapter, put the book back in your pocket, and say, "Ah, where am I? Am I going to die now? I'm lost." That's just a good experience. That's just a good time. And then you have the fun. Then you have the joy. Then you have the pleasure of finding your way home. And that's another type of enjoyment, right? That's also good. That's another thing that it is good and fun to do. For me. Last good book that you read was Talking to Dragons. It was interesting. Also, dragons in that world are genderless until they're adults and decide my name is blank and I am blank gender. Reasonable. Honestly, reasonable. Book encourage us in every time. What are some other good books that I've read? If you do writing, if you do any sort of writing, for whether it's for video games or for pleasure or anything else, anything in between, or both, you should read A Hero with a Thousand Faces. That is just required reading for everybody that wants to go into, story writing, honestly. If you haven't read The Hero with a Thousand Faces, then you need to. Simply put, if you're doing content creation, if you're doing content creation for stories or anything narrative, you gotta. It's just that's how stories are written, and that's what you need to know. Let's see. What are some other good books that I have enjoyed? Do I like writing? I don't write often, but I do like writing. I'm not great at it, but it's fun. It's pleasurable. You like reading more than writing? That's reasonable. That's completely reasonable. And yeah, writing is more... I mean, it depends on what your goals are, right? If your goal is just to sit back and have a good time, yeah, go read something. But sometimes you want to create, right? Sometimes you want to create something. That's why I make YouTube videos. But that's also, you know... Oh, that's right. Lynn Flewelling, The Bone Doll's Twin. That was a good book that I can highly recommend. The Bone Doll's Twin is a story about a... it's a story about a girl that was disguised magically from birth as a boy for fear that assassins would kill her because they were noble. And so this child was disguised magically and had to grow up in the body of a boy despite having the brain of a girl. It is a very good book, and it goes exactly where you think it is with the character's emotions and the character's development. And I recommend it. Is there a new Lamora book, now that I think about it? The Lamora books were... Yeah, it was called the Gentleman Bastard books. And they were really good. Those were really enjoyable. And I wonder if there's a new one out. How many... I've read the first 3... Nope, the next one is not out yet. The last one came out in 2013. The next one's not out yet. Oh, that's painful. Oh, that hurts to see. Oh. I like that so much. Hello, Draco. Welcome. Dream peacefully, friend. Let's see, what else was fun? I really enjoyed... Okay, so I can't recommend this to everybody, right? I have a book series that a book that I enjoyed that I don't necessarily think people should read. Do I read Marvel's book? I've not read any of the Marvel books, no. But I'd recommend that if you like very thick novels, if you like novels that are a bit on the heavy side, a little bit harder to read, I enjoyed The Count of Monte Cristo. It's a good book. It's just hard to read. It's something that it's a challenge. It's a challenge to read sometimes, but not in a bad way. It's a challenge that is enjoyable. Marvel's books. You mean like the superhero books? I've not read superhero books. No, I maybe I should. It sounds fun. Where's my... What else did I enjoy reading? Yeah, Lives of Lamora, the Gentleman Bastard series, is a story that takes place in a steampunky magic world and follows a master thief. It's very similar to Lupin in the style of that you are following the master thief as they go off on heists, and there's a few very sad moments in it, but all in all, it is a romp. It is a lot of fun. It's a really interesting and fascinating world design, and the characters are just... they're so much fun. The characters are just a delight to partake with. I should read more of the Redwall books. Those were good. Are they still making new Redwall books? Like, is that still a thing? Really? I don't know. Hope so, because those are great books. I have not read the Necronomicon, nor do I have a copy of it. I'm just skimming through my audiobooks library. Yeah, the Witcher books were fun. I remember someone told me that The Witcher 3 takes place after the Witcher books, and I just had to laugh in their face because, like, no, if you've read the Witcher books, you know that's not true. You know that's just a lie. You know that's just straight up wrong because the Witcher books cannot take place after the, the Witcher games cannot take place after the books for reasons that I will not go into because you should read those books. I do want to play the Witcher games. After I get my new model, the Witcher games are high on the list of things I want to play. There's a lot of things on that list, but those are fairly high on that list. Drop the push. I'm back. Let's see here. Among Us. Is there an Among Us book now? Has anyone made an Among Us novel yet? I mean, I guess John Carpenter's The Thing is the Among Us novel, is the Among Us movie, right? Like, The Thing is the story, is the plotline of Among Us. Because Among Us has a plotline, kind of, ish, sort of. Though honestly, if chat is starting to talk about Among Us, then I think that's probably a great time to end the stream. Oh yeah, the pack of chicken nuggets with Among Us on it, that was absolutely hilarious. I saw that. I mean, props on them for branding, right? I mean, they found a branding opportunity. Hold on, I can put that out here so everybody can see it. Fastest way of doing that is just going to be pull it up on the Water Fox. Look at that. Look, I mean, that looks like official licensing to me, right? I mean, that doesn't, it might be bootleg. I guess I don't actually know for sure. I have no idea if this is actually a bootleg or a license, but they just went all in on making Among Us chicken nuggets, and honestly, that sounds amazing. I would try them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I would try the Among Us chicken nuggets. But yeah, Monday we will play Hades. And I hope that you all join us there, because I'm hyped for it. And maybe, just maybe, possibly, I'll be good at video games. We don't know. There's no way of knowing. But I might be good at video games on Monday. Probably not, but we'll find out. All right. Parakata, waiting for Monday. I think it'll be a good time. If you haven't played Among Us, it is. Oh yeah. If you haven't played Hades, then I think you'll be in for a great time. And if you have played Hades, it'll still be fun to see how I play the game, because my style and my techniques in the game might be different from yours. But yeah, the Escape from Hell is a wonderful game. 10 out of 10. Do recommend. And I can't wait for the next game. I've played the first game that studio made, which was Bastion. That game made Bastion first, and Bastion had a fantastic narrator. Here. There's a good picture of it. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Bastion, it's a delightful game. It has aged surprisingly well. That worked very well. Reminds me, yeah, you played a lot of it? Nice. And then they went on to make Pyre, which was fine. I didn't love it. Pyre was a good game, but it wasn't a game for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a good game that I didn't love playing. And then they made Hades, which is phenomenal. Or no, wait. No, then they made Transistor, which was pretty cool, but had a bit of a squandered potential. Transistor was a good game that felt like it was so close to being a great game that it was frustrating when it just fell short a little bit time and time again. It had a bunch of good ideas, but it never really capitalized on them. It had a bunch of play styles, but none of them really meshed together, at least not for me. And I enjoyed it, but it was always just a stone's throw away from actually being a great game. And then they made Pyre, which is definitely a game that exists. And I lost a little faith in the company. I lost a little bit of faith after Pyre was released, because it was just like, Pyre was not a great game for me. I didn't enjoy it very much. And then Hades came out, and it's like, yes, this capitalized on all of the potential of every game that they've made. It has the crisp storyline and voice acting that they highlighted in Bastion. It has the mechanics and the synergies and the ideas that Transistor said we could try this, but the Transistor failed to actually capitalize on. It has the combat and the quick-paced nature of Pyre, and with the wider cast of characters that Pyre has, that all have unique dialogue lines as you play through the game. Hades is just a combination of all of the best things of every other Supergiant game put into a new package that is just exquisitely made. It's just incredibly well handled. So, please look forward to that. I know I will, because, well, I like it. Oh, as a game dev, can I ask you, when you're working with a licensed property with multiple characters with set roles, do you think it's more important, what do I think is more important? Accuracy to the property or balance of the squad? That is a difficult question, because you want to make the balance of the team the most important thing. Make the best game you can. Make the game better, and if that means breaking apart some of the things that are in the initial property, so be it. But they're not going to let you, because you have to pass their board. You need to hand them a copy of the game and let them decide if you do justice to all the characters. That's not your choice to make. As a game dev, I will tell you, do what you can to make the game best first, and then shuffle off the rest of the work. And then, you know, accuracy to the property should be secondary. But you also need your job, right? You also need to make the property owner believe that this is a game that fits their IP. So, yeah. That's my answer on that, is make the balance the game best first, and then do what you can to appease the license holders. Hades is my favorite game. My favorite game is Final Fantasy VI. If you want to see my favorite game, there is a playlist of it on in the playlist tab of my channel. That is by far my favorite game. I like Hades. I think Hades is good. I do not think that Hades is my favorite game, but I enjoy it a lot. An Among Us marble that is a crew member's POV, like a journal? Ooh, that would be kind of cool. That'd be interesting. How to tell a lie confidently? I don't know. I'm usually pretty honest with you guys, by and large. Oh, you're talking about Among Us? Oh, yeah. Among Us is how to lie confidently. Yeah. Among Us is very much how can you convince people that that you are in fact not lying. Honestly, I think the best thing to do in Among Us is be a wild card. When I played Among Us, I don't want to say that I memed, because that makes it sound like, you know, I wasn't really engaging with the game, but I would just do silly things, and you know, if someone killed in front of me, I would ignore it. I just wouldn't report it. And then later on, like in there, like when somebody else fingered them, and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw him kill someone a few rounds back," and people would be confused and shocked by like, "Why didn't you say something?" I was like, didn't seem important at the time. Like that style of gameplay sets you up to be a wild card, which simultaneously makes you more trustworthy when you're lying and less trustworthy when you're not lying. It makes you more, and that balancing factor makes the opponent's jobs harder. It makes the other players have a harder job to decide if you are just being silly for content or if you're hiding something, because it's both. So that was my strategy when I played Among Us, was, you know, to be a little bit of a meme lord, be a little bit of a gremlin, you know, be a little bit of a weirdo in there. That was my strategy for Among Us, was be the ace, be the wild card. You love it? Fair. I haven't played in a while. I've heard they've actually done some big updates to it, so maybe I'll go back to it at some point. I would need to have a full collab to stream it again, and I know it's not big streaming now, but I might go play it again sometime. Jade is enough of an actor to lie confidently, but enough of a memer that they tell the truth because it's funnier. Yeah? True. It's just true, though. All right. We are going to end the stream here. I had a wonderful time. I hope that all of you did too. And I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, the same time this stream started, is when we will be starting Hades. So please look forward to that, and I will see you then. Cheers, friends.